And we are live. Happy Sunday night, motherfuckers. Now make sure that I mute. There's a little bit of a delay, and I say this every time. It's probably not the best introduction, but nobody wants to hear me echo. Hail chat here. We got a bunch of people all in the chat already. There's my echo, and I muted it right on time. Got Rob Hunter, my death-defying, fearless co-host here for a Sunday night. The ravishing Rob Hunter, and happy Mother's Day, all you motherfuckers. You know, to some people, Mother's Day means one thing. To motherfuckers, it means an entirely different thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're just out there trolling single moms. They need love too. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Shooting fish in a barrel. I don't know why you'd shoot fish, and I don't know why you put them in a barrel, but it's easy pickings. You know it's bad when Rob's judging me. Shaking his head in disgust. Oh, you've been there, Rob.
Yeah.
It's lonely. It's last call. You know. Pickings are getting slim. You know,
that's never been.
It's no fun sleeping alone.
I can't talk to women cold.
Oh, no, me neither.
I can't walk right up to them and start talking like that.
No, not at all.
I was never the guy at the bar who would hit on a chick and take them home. I start the I'm phone conversations. I'm emails back and forth. So, and then it's, that's how I maneuver. That's how I've always had to maneuver. Yeah. I struggle like a son of a bitch with it.
Me too. Yeah. But sober, I struggle.
Well, yeah.
That's why.
But,
that's what alcohol is for.
But for me, that line is very. It's a very narrow margin of. A couple drinks, and I'm fine. 4 drinks, and I just sit down at the table with a group of people and I start talking to them.
Yeah.
So
there's that. You got to find your your range where it works, because you're gonna go past that and then it's gonna go downhill. But we got a ton of people in the chat, so I'm gonna throw hail out to everybody in the chat. Southern Cecil, me and him were already chatting. Hail, Southern Cecil. Thanks for showing up on a Sunday night. This is the first 30-day closeout for Superiors, and we're banging around like there's some action going on. So, and thank God I can finally add or at Pastmaster Dan on Twitter. For the longest time, I was trying to include him on tweets and add him and stuff, and Twitter was making Pastmaster Dan's life I think a little bit of a pain in the ass. But
were you maxed out? Because you only can have certain amount of people.
No, but like it wasn't the numbers. Like I think Rennie has the same problem. Like you couldn't Rennie draws. You couldn't at her, and there was the same thing with Pastmaster Dan. So now I can finally include him in ads. Twitter might have hired this what is it, the World Economic Funds chick. I'm like, oh god, like there was just that glimmer of hope with what Elon was doing with Twitter, and then he goes and hires this chick, and it's like, really, come on, the evil empire can't always win.
Have you looked at things in the last 20 years?
Yeah. I like to say my glass is half full, Rob. So Marcus in the chat. Marcus has been a huge supporter for Superiors. I absolutely appreciate it. You guys out there spreading the word around, and Randy too. You guys spreading the word around on social media about the Superiors is a massive help to me, and getting the word out for me and Rob both. Getting the word out on these books helps us out a ton. And my old friend Darren Wagner Darren's favorite pick on blind. If I mention I have a penis, but it's like you need to be more. You need to be more descriptive. It's like
That's a dangerous line to go.
it's,
Cold
it's,
up
it's
to.
a bold.
Wow.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it works. My favorite. You ever watch Dodgeball? I love. What's his face on there? It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it works here.
Yeah.
But hey, yep. Go ahead.
Jason Bateman, he kicked ass on that.
Yeah,
the
way
great,
he had his the hair and the BMX like jersey. That was like, I mean, Jason Bateman has done a million things, and just a super likable dude. That's probably my favorite thing he's done of all time.
Did you watch the Christmas Party movie he did?
Yeah, that was a great
I like
movie.
that one a lot too. Yeah, that was one of those movies that came out, and I think it came out like maybe Thanksgiving time or something. Because it's a Christmas, we're having a big Christmas party movie. But that one was like, I remember just going, well, I like a bunch of the actors in it, so I'm gonna go watch it. And then I'm watching it, and I'm like, where did this fucking movie come from? Like, it's outrageous.
It was
yeah, it was really great. Yeah, it's fantastic.
That was who was it? TJ.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah, he was in Deadpool and he was in the Silicon Valley before he absolutely tanked his career. He called in like a bomb threat on a train. He went nutty.
He also kidnapped a chick.
Yeah,
he said it was something because of brain damage.
Well, like he was on something that he probably regrets now, but he just absolutely destroyed his career. Because that guy was going places. He was a funny guy. And
I've seen him on social media stuff, YouTube and things like that since then, and he's still pretty damn funny. But I don't.
Oh, I'm sure he's still hilarious, but I don't. I can't see a movie like his movie and TV show career is kind of over.
Yeah, can you imagine investing $80 million into a movie where he has that
like literally
on his portfolio?
You're not going to get the insurance to cover the movie if you got that guy on there. It's like, I'm sure there's directors and buddies of his that are comedians that would love to have him on stuff, because he absolutely hilarious guy. But like the insurance company literally won't sign off on it. I'm sure it's like once you pull that kind of shit and the police get involved, it's like, no, that's gonna do it for you. All right, you know what we're gonna do? Because I do this every freaking time. I'm gonna run through the Superiors campaign super quick.
Oh yeah, dude. You got to, man. This is the last 39.
I know.
The first 30 days.
Yep. But I get yakking, and I mean, you and me, we're great at like going off on a tangent, and then, oh yeah, that's right. We have campaigns. Yeah, I forget all about them. So here, let me. I'm gonna do my best impression of Art T Bear, and try and share a screen. At some point, like I see, yeah. Well, and the thing is I've got like 30 screens pulled up, just because like I've got all this. I'm going to do this thing on Henry Cavill and Superman and the new Superman casting. So I've got like there's tons of all the different actors and stuff that are being talked about and rumored for casting. So it's really interesting because it's crazy. Like there's all these girls. Natalie Portman is a beautiful woman. They managed to find all these girls that kind of look like Natalie Portman and cast them in movies now. The Stranger Things girl. There's another one of the chicks that played her in Attack of the Clones is a famous actress too, like the when they had all the makeup on.
Oh, you mean it was almost like her princess body double?
Yeah, the bodyguard chicks, and like she's a famous actress in and of her own. But like that's what happened with Cavill is like they found like a Cavill duplicate, and it's like crazy. But that's not what we're talking about right now. Let's see here. Let's go through the chat. Elon has to go back to Tesla. Yeah. He'll be a liar to his e-face. Yeah, you're not wrong. He like stabbed everybody in the back with that hire with that chick. I can't find it in China. Holy crap!
I mean,
Yeah.
can Elon even go back to Tesla? Because look at Tesla. Tesla is now it's coming out that more pollution is created building
Oh yeah.
electric car than what pollution is created
First
by
of
a
all, the
gas engine car.
coal that runs all the electric charging stations, and second of all of the elements that you need for these e-car batteries. Guess who has the monopoly on them? China. Like we don't
Yeah.
have as
Well,
nearly the access to the mining that China has.
well, we would, but for some reason we seem to ignore South America. South America has, like
Yeah.
Bolivia, has massive lithium mines, and most people don't know that there's more cobalt in a lithium battery than there is lithium.
Yeah.
So, and we do have cobalt mines in America. Here's the thing: in America, nobody wants to mine certain things or make certain things because of the pollution.
Yeah.
So the EPA in the federal government makes it so expensive that companies and mines can't do those things in the United States.
And the thing is other countries are doing it, so us not doing it here isn't like saving anything. Like, oh, we're saving the planet. It's like, no, the other countries are just doing it and making money. I'm disappointed to see that I would have thought Southern Cecil would have been the perfect choice for Superman. So that kind of bums me out that he turned it down. But Southern Cecil, I know he considers himself a real actor. And like superhero roles are like that's kind of like cashing out on your acting credentials. Keira Knightley is exactly who I was thinking of. She is another one of the it shows you how far the Hollywood casting net goes, that you find a beautiful actress, absolutely stunning, and then you can find 2 or 3 other girls that look just like her, and it's like, wow, okay, it's kind of weird, because I mean, Keira Knightley is stunning on her own. Then Natalie
they do the
Portman.
same thing with music. One band goes hot, and then there's 4 more right behind it.
But to me, that's a little different because you can mimic. Like mimicking styles. You're talking to somebody who is familiar with mimicking styles for to help out getting an audience for your product. But to me, like, this is genetics. Like, these people were born this way. You're going out and finding like somebody who looks like, you would think it'd be nearly impossible to find somebody that looks that close alike, but apparently it is not. Oh yeah, here we go. The $30,000 batteries.
When those tank out on you in like 10 to 12 years, and then
I remember seeing a spot on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and it was showing all these little French e-cars, just rows and rows and rows of them out in fields because the batteries are burnt, and you can't pay for another battery for it because it costs more than the car.
There's a Chinese company that was actually, what they were doing was they were making cars where they swap out the batteries.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing for, even you wouldn't go to an e-station to charge it. They had it set up so that they would swap your battery, and you just, go right along with a brand new or a newly charged battery, freshly charged battery in your car.
20 years from now, and it's like you've got those things, the retrospectives where you're like, oh, the 1990s, oh, the 1970s. Like, there's going to be a retrospective on the 2020s, and it's like, what a bad idea the electronic car revolution was, and like how it was based off of nothing. Like, it's not
just a scam.
It's a total scam. It's a money grab. It is not based off of real science. And we're going to look back on this, and it's just like, it's going to be a bunch of con artists behind it.
It's always the same thing. It's so the government can find a new way to tax us, more taxes that people accept. Yeah, unfortunately.
Southern Cecil is one of our finest thespians, Bassmaster.
So Cecil didn't want to play pretend in front of green screens holding a green rock.
I think he was.
That's what superhero roles are now.
I think it was either he wasn't comfortable with the tight red shorts, or he was way too comfortable with the tight red shorts. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it's like there's nowhere to hide your bulge in that costume, which is the problem Darren was talking about earlier when he introduced himself to girls. Is like you go straight for the penis. So
yeah.
Oh, and that's the other thing is getting rid of the old electric car batteries. I think the best way to get rid of them is just toss them in a river.
There's actually a company in the United States that actually.
No, I mean I think I read an article is like the best way to get electric car batteries. Just toss it in a river and walk away, and just don't think about it again.
Oh no! Yeah, well,
I don't know. I don't know the science behind it, Rob. I'm not.
The science says you just dump it in a deep spot in the ocean, and we'll not have to think about it for 60 years.
Bury it in your neighbor's yard and like.
That's your garden.
Oh, Cecil may have been offended.
Uh-oh.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Nothing wrong with being a thespian, Cecil.
No.
Cecil might have to look up what thespian means. All right. I said I was gonna go through the superiors. The last thing I will do on any show is like actually go through my campaign.
7 hours left.
Yeah. I love yesterday. You're like, Rob's like, yeah, hey Clint, you said the first thing we're gonna do is go through our campaigns, and we're an hour in and you still haven't gone through your campaign yet. So,
I had to yell at you. I'm like, Clint, we showed Death Raider early, and we still haven't gotten to superiors.
I got through Death Raider, and then I was just I got sidetracked. So that's why I'm starting with superiors tonight. So this is the first 30-day closeout for the superiors. Tonight is the last day of our first 30, and we are damn close to we're $80 away from hitting 15,000, which is
so close.
Absolutely fucking fantastic. I can't thank you guys enough for supporting this book. We had a couple things set against us this time. Mainly, I'm not supposed to talk about it, but I'm not. Superiors does not show up in the comic section. I'll say that, and you can't find it in the search engine. I'll say that. So those are two things that kind of don't bring as much attention to the campaign. But Comicsgate comes through. I've been pushing this on Twitter as much as I can, and you guys have been awesome. Randy, Marcus, all of you guys, Pastmaster Dan, Cecil, you guys have been awesome about retweeting this and getting the word out to greater Comicsgate, and I can't say how much I appreciate it. So we will let's zoom in. This is the main cover here, cover A. I originally had 4 variant covers, but then Yellow Flash, man, Yellow Flash has been awesome about getting the word about. He's really seems to have been interested in the superiors, and I can't thank him enough. So I actually threw in this special Yellow Flash variant. It's a homage to Flash 139, which is the first appearance of Professor Zoom. You got the woke police here chasing Yellow Flash, and my speedster character on the left is Vector. And he says, this Yellow Flash guy from 2023 is anti-woke like me. Instead of bowing to the woke tards, he's breaking their rules. He's a freedom fighter. And that's, I mean, like right there, like that's Comicsgate in a nutshell, man. It's like the SJWs, they want to shut us up. They want to censor the crap out of everything. They want you to buy their woke shit. And I mean, they have infiltrated the big two, Marvel and DC, and they have turned it into a garbage pile of shit. And some of us still love comic books, and we still love real superheroes, and that's what the Superiors is all about. This is an ode to the superhero comics that I grew up on. the Justice League and the Avengers, just straight up superhero comics fighting bad guys, action, adventure, escapism. I've done a bunch of variant covers to the books that I love growing up. I am a massive, massive Jim Lee fan, unapologetically. And X-Men 268 is one of my favorite comics of all time. So I have this homage to X-Men 268, which is Captain America, Wolverine, and Black Widow's first appearance. So I've got my three main characters there, Titan, Shadow Knight, and Venus. And I can't wait to see this cover in print. Like that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to most with this campaign. But yeah, I'm a total homage guy. John Byrne is another one of my favorites. Fantastic Four 249 and Superman #8, where John Byrne's ego wasn't big enough, so he homaged himself, which I just absolutely love. Love John Byrne. I just like I love listening to John Byrne's like going on Byrne Robotics and listening to him talk, and you can just hear the arrogance through his like messages and stuff on there, and like he's the best. Like I saw Mark Miller was posting, like Frank Miller has done some little pinups and stuff, and he said Frank Miller was like the greatest. It's like, no, like Frank Miller in his prime was one of the best, but he isn't that anymore. Like Frank Miller's kind of, his old stuff was better, but like John Byrne is still killing it. His X-Men what is it, the Hidden Years or whatever he's doing,
the pencil stuff.
Yeah, oh my god, I wish they would go get like, I mean, there's no Terry Austins anymore, but like just ink the crap out of it and like publish that stuff. I would love to see that stuff in real print. I know Sobolski talked to him about it, but I think Sobolski was like, but if we're going to do it, we're going to do it this. And like John Byrne's like, fuck no.
Yeah, they put some stipulations in it so they can control it. And
yeah,
so they
exactly. And like Byrne's like, no, I'm just going to keep doing what I want to do. And I don't give a shit about publishing it through you guys. Like John Byrne's done with listening to editors.
Think of how fast he can draw a page.
Oh my god!
He was on a normal basis.
John Byrne can pencil beautiful penciled pages, 3 pages a day, easy, without even trying.
Yeah, so if he can do one of those X-Men pages in 2 to 3 hours, just kind of sits down for 2 or 3 hours, does a page, then he does a couple commissions. He's made his money for the week.
Oh yeah,
from the commissions. So that's just kind of his bonus time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, puts in a nice 6-hour day or something.
And I'm assuming like his fan base there is buying all these original pencils from him right out.
I think so.
Yeah. So like
they know he's never.
Those pages are gonna be worth a mint. Like I don't care what you're buying those pages for. Even if it's thousands of dollars, those John Byrne pages for the X-Men that he's doing his own story, like that's retirement money, because like look at original art, and John Byrne is, to me, John Byrne's a legend. Like
there was a time when before I decided I want to be a comic book artist, and I was still a comic book fan, and I'd grown tired of collecting comics, so I started buying original artwork, and I never actually saw any type of decent Byrne Uncanny X-Men pages ever for sale, and all the artist choice catalogs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I remember like looking at, this is when Liefeld and Jim Lee were popular. I had a Jim Lee Uncanny X-Men page, actually from 268. But I remember
you do.
I did. I sold it.
Oh,
dude, it's because even the guy who explained it to me, he goes, "Hey man, this is already 4 different people have already this page has already gone through 4 different hands."
Yeah.
Because this was when Uncanny was so hot with Jim. So it was already so like overpriced for like market value, but everyone knew it was so difficult unless you were friends with Jim to get any decent pages.
Yeah.
So I bought it, and then the whole time for like 5 years after it, I'm like, I didn't regret it, but at the same time I knew it was still worth the same amount that I had paid for it. And then,
Oh,
and then eBay comes around and now it's worth,
yeah.
now it's worth, 30 times what I paid
Which
for it.
page was it?
It was the page where Wolverine chops off the old guy's head. So
Oh,
so it's one of the flashback pages where he's in Madripoor with Cap. Of course, the whole
yeah.
issue is mostly a flashback. But dude, I
Is it?
passed up the guy who was going to sell all of John Byrne's artwork that was not Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah.
He had just spent the weekend at John Byrne's studio,
Oh
catalog
my God.
all of his artwork. And
Yeah.
he said, he goes, this is what John's doing. He's pricing every page that's not a splash page at like $80, and every other page is like 150 or something. And
Oh my God,
dude,
that's
from
cheap.
Fantastic Four through Namor, so everything that was after Uncanny X-Men, and I don't think there's any
Yeah.
Avengers, but so there's this huge bulk of pages, and I could have had them for like 60, 70, 80, $150 a page. It
Well, I
was just
suppose like
insane.
Fantastic Four, he was cranking out so many pages, and like Fantastic Four and the Namer stuff wasn't as hot as like X-Men was. Yeah, it's
Well, there was
it's
there was an Australian collector when he heard that John was going to just have all that artwork be cataloged and get put up for sale. He had, because he was already friends with John, he had flown out to the John's house while the art dealer was doing all that, and he left with like FedEx boxes full of stuff.
Oh yeah, he went through and picked out.
Yeah, he was going through it. It was just like as it's getting cataloged, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll take this.
And I mean, and if you can play the long game, you're not going to lose money on that. It's just,
well, nobody could have known about eBay. That's where it went crazy because
eBay. This was all pre-eBay. This was all like the internet was around, but it wasn't nearly what it is now.
All of a sudden, people realized that they could buy pieces of their childhood.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people who made tons of money in construction.
Yep. And it was people who had good jobs could go back and buy a page from their old comic. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Yeah. And that's when all that artwork went crazy.
Yeah. And then when that went crazy, then the auction houses jumped on it.
Yes.
And that's where the money that went through the roof is because the auction houses, like it's not even somebody then you get the speculators, like you can have people that legitimately want to buy it who have got money to throw at it, but then you get the speculators who are at auctions and stuff, and it's like,
well, dude, for the longest time, you could buy for $300, you could buy a whole issue of Mike Zeck's Captain America.
Oh God,
that was just that time, dude. That was it was like 91, 92, that time period where that artwork was. It's still, all those artists were making their money on royalties, and artwork was collectible, but not, even then it was, if you had Punisher Mike Zeck, everybody wanted that. That was a premium. But all the other stuff, all the other stuff. And now, man, I had a G.I. Joe cover. I had a Zeck G.I. Joe cover for a little while.
Wow. The Captain America stuff, I thought that stuff was just gorgeous.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I never picked any of that up,
and the thing is,
I would have sold it by now.
Yeah, all this stuff is just going to keep going up and up and up. So, looks like how are we doing here? We got a bunch of people in the chat. So, Hale, I'm going to throw a Hale chat out there. I'm also going to say, I think most of you guys have been here before, but we got 6 likes already. If you can hit that like button, it really does help on my channel. And if this is your first time here and you haven't subscribed, I am at 203 subscribers. I'm over 200 subscribers now. So keeping trying to build this channel. Me and Rob are planning on doing this on a regular basis. Yep, that's the plan now. We're not. It's not going to be this hit or miss stuff. We're going to do at least one a week, if not a little bit more. So I think right now Thursday is our normal night. We're thinking about doing it the day after the Pontificators. But Sunday for the closeout for Superiors. I'm also thinking about I'm working on this because the sketch and live didn't work out quite the way I wanted it to last time. But what I'm thinking about doing is doing a pre-recorded live drawing on YouTube, and then we can play it a little bit while me and you are bullshitting and let it play in the background
Oh,
on the side here.
oh,
So,
that's
because like
smart.
I know, like Andrew, and I know there's a lot of people out there that like to see the live drawing, like from. So me and you can be bullshitting, and I can just let
Yeah,
the live drop play, and I can do like fun stuff like Savage Land Rogue, Wolverine, Superman, that kind of thing. Pick out something for the week, and then just have it play on the side here for some little extra
smart.
entertainment while the chat enjoys yours and mine uh, 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 intellectual
Banter.
discord, as it were.
And I can constantly stop you to ask questions about what you just done in the
Yeah,
video
I can be
and
like that.
force you to keep pausing.
Yeah, it's like, what kind of crow quill tip were you using there? And it's like, that's not a crow quill tip. What kind of micron? It's like, I don't use
It's the
microns anymore.
computer. It's my computer, Rob. I'm like, computer. I don't know what micron that is.
Oh,
Is that a brand? Is that some kind of brand?
do you
Desktop.
have you like now? I know you're a real. See, this is how I consider myself, Rob. Is I consider myself a fake inker because no, and like seriously, you know what I'm talking about. Like I can do a lot of stuff and I can make stuff look good, but
Mm-hmm.
I've never used a crow quill in my life and I've never used a brush in my life. So
Oh, you are.
I am not a real inker. Like I I would think you would agree with that, right?
You know what?
You don't have to judge me
Kinda,
harshly, but
yeah,
kind of.
yeah, kinda. Because I tell everybody, what you do is you first learn how to use a brush,
Yeah.
and then you decide whether you like a crow quill more, and then once you get old, you go over to like the pens, the technical pens,
Yeah.
and I still use technical pens for cleanup, because sometimes it's just faster. If I see like, oh, I missed the nose, let me go in and do it with a technical pen, because if I fix it with a crow quill, now I gotta wait for it to dry, and if I'm almost finished and I'm trying to finish a
Oh
page,
yeah.
I'll just use a technical pen on something
And that's the other thing is like letting ink dry. It's like I'll just smear my hand across.
like that. Oh, dude, it's
No,
I have lots of smear stories. Lots of smear stories.
basically what I did is I never figured out crow quill and I never wanted to mess with brush. So I learned to fake everything with microns.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
every kind of line. And like and then once I got figured out Photoshop, and this is early on. This
Mm-hmm.
is like 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Like literally I would do like those big flowy smooth lines that you would do with a brush.
Yeah. Yep.
I would just do the two exterior lines with a little 0.01 micron,
Yeah.
and I would drop in the ink in Photoshop.
Yeah. Well,
To
because
drop the black in, basically.
I use a size 1
Yeah.
brush for inking. So
Oh,
I'm still doing what you just explained. I still will make two nice perfect lines, and then I go back and fill it in with a number 2 brush.
yeah, yeah,
It's because if you do the fin to thick, and you're trying to cover in, where you don't have to go back and fill in those lines, it's the line work isn't as crisp,
yeah,
and it gets a little smushy, and
yeah,
you can see all the artists who, everything is soft. There's
yeah.
I'm not a fan of those guys, and you can
No, you
tell
want
whenever we talk about.
yeah,
I don't
no,
like
you want
that
a
soft
sharp you want
inking.
a sharp ink line. Like you can
Yeah.
have like soft pencils and stuff, but you want that inker to come in there and like really snap off the line on it. Stippling Vaughn, appreciate it, man. Back to last night, back to
Sweet.
2:30.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
absolutely. Oh, see now Rob's gonna have to talk like yeah, I like when you start talking brush names and numbers, I
Okay,
am
I always confuse the 8404 and the 8408, and they're both discontinued in America because it's Russian sable hair, and
oh
because it's Russia,
oh
United
so it's bad.
States can't import it anymore because our federal government is corrupt as fuck.
See, it all gets political. No matter we're just trying to ink comics, but it still gets political. You can't escape it.
So my online art website will say, "Here's your alternative that you can purchase instead, Rob." And I'm like, "Fine, you bastards! Don't you tell me what kind of brush I can own, you son of a bitches! You communist bastards!"
Those dirty commies are always
Mm-hmm.
coming for us. And that's why we have to be. We have to be.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna file a class action lawsuit for the comic book industry against the United States government.
I think you got. I think you got.
$1.2 trillion. I will settle out of court for 12.
Exactly. $12 in a case of Busch Light. Oh, not Busch Light. Coors Light.
12 million. 12 million. Don't you sell me short.
I would have sold it for $12, but I'm cheap. I'm cheap and easy.
Oh well. I'm looking at retirement.
Speaking of cheap and easy, it's cheap and easy to back the Superior.
Oh yeah. Look at all the work.
I put a little detail into this.
Yeah, so. There's so much work into these pages.
Yeah, I'm proud of, and this is actually only half of a double page spread. The thing about double page spreads, when you put them on Indiegogo pages, you lose all the detail. Like everything gets super small. So
yeah,
but yeah, this is my superhero team, the Superiors, and the storyline is set against the multiverse. Basically, their lead superhero, Titan, an evil variant from across the multiverse, is crossing through every reality and killing every version of them and stealing their powers. And he wants to control the multiverse, and he's gonna kill every Superior if he has to do it. And this is where he kind of starts out doing it. Like, poor Shadow Knight. That's going to be a little bit of dental work for him there.
Oh no.
Yeah. So you can see there's no shortage of action and adventure and bloodshed. Like this is kind of no holds bar. Like once the fighting starts, it's on like Donkey Kong.
And backgrounds.
Yeah,
there's a
lot
of actual backgrounds.
Actual backgrounds. I do draw like a full comic book. I didn't like this. I wanted to make this like as epic as I could make it, and I didn't short out any of the pages. I didn't speed through anything. Like that's been one of the great things with Comicsgate and with these books that I've been doing is I've had enough success with these books that I can use that time to put more time into each of the next books. A lot of times you're rushing to try and get the next book done because like you've got bills to pay. Like getting a comic book finished, you need that money to pay your bills. The success that I've had has allowed me to like take the time to like max out all these pages, and it's what I've always wanted to do. I've always like any comic, you just want to spend more time on it and make it as beautiful as you can, and Comicsgate and crowdfunding has allowed me to do that. So I poured everything I've got into all of these pages, and I can't wait for everybody to see them. I'm super stoked about this book. But Stippling Vaughn understands about stippling the F out of a page. Yep. I don't do it with a 102, but I'm
you cheating bastard.
Give me a 0.05 micron, and I can do anything anybody else can do, and probably even a little bit more fine line. So,
well, that's I've noticed a lot of pencilers when I receive pages, they aren't even considering actually what the tools people are inking with, because you look at how close together the rendering is. They're like, dude, literally there's no line. If for someone to ink exactly what some of these pencilers are penciled, there's no line variety at all. There's no thin to thick. It's just a flick of the Pigma marker. And you can see how a lot of guys, their style is the style that comes across. It's not because that's the style that they think is so fantastic. That's the style because they're inking the whole thing with a pigment mark.
Yeah.
That's all it is. You know, I've even seen where some of my most detailed rendering pieces, it's because I might have first inked it with a brush, but then I've gone back with a pigment marker and go, oh, wait, let me add another line, a row of rendering, so it looks even more Travis
Yeah.
Charest detailed. You know, so even I have to cheat. So
yeah, there's an artist who's been posting his stuff on Twitter lately, and I absolutely love his art. I think he's a South American guy. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he is. I won't say his name, but like I've copied a couple of his pages that he's posted and then just thrown them on like Photoshop and Clip Studios just because I want to take a whack at it. And
study it. Yeah.
There's so much pencil line, and it's like I get into it and I'm like, I don't even know where to start with inking this. Like it's beautiful when you pull back and look at it, but then when you zoom in and you're going for the ink line and it's like this is loose and this like there's it's
yeah there's a lot of cheating when it's still in pencil. There's a lot of tone,
and I don't want to lose his intention.
Yeah,
but like you almost kind of have to start interpreting stuff because he's thrown so much stuff down and it's so loose.
Yeah, he's cheating. Yeah, he's using light and dark pencil line for three-dimensional indication, but that's not what comic books are. The black ink line.
I need a solid everything. Like I appreciate it. And I mean, the thing is, if you're going to be a loose penciler, go ahead and just be a loose penciler and let the inker do it. But he's throwing so much down there. And when you look back from afar, it looks tight. And then you go into it and it's like literally, I don't know where to start this line work.
You know, Scott Williams in an interview in Wizard, 20 years ago, he talked about how sometimes it would, he thinks he's doing, like he's at the forefront of his gig. And he's like, I'm a pretty good inker. I'm inking Jim Lee. We're making all this money. And then he said that then a cover will come along and it has so much line weight and beautiful tonal work to it. And when he gets done with it, he just looks at it and goes, what the fuck did I do to this thing? What did I do to this beautiful cover? Because half of the work that you see isn't real. It's tonal.
Yeah, and your pencil. Like, why would you be shading with a pencil when you know
why are you doing?
Like the ink line. Like, if you want gray tones in there, that's one thing. But then you gotta I don't understand the gray tones when and like I've seen like when Jim will post some of his original pencil stuff.
Yeah,
and it's like there'll be some gray tone stuff in there where he's shading, and it's like I'm sure Scott Williams would know what to do with it because he's done it long enough, and he'd be comfortable doing it on Jim because they've just been together forever. Yeah. But like if you were like somebody else and like Jim needs his page inked, and you're like, what do I do with Jim's gray tone?
Yeah. Well, you know what? When I worked on Suicide Squad's, it was 52. It was the Suicide Squad launch for 52. Yep. And the guy before me, he's gone on to commercial art because commercial art takes half as long and gets paid, get paid twice as much. It's
a real business as opposed to what comic books is.
So you make 4 times as much money in comics. Well, that's why he got behind on his Suicide Squad pages, and he was doing his version of Jim Lee. But the more that he would do his own comic book inks on the computer, dude, some of those panels, like if I was ever going to go full computer, which I won't, but if I ever went full computer, I would be looking at those, which is, I mean, now 52, Suicide Squad 52 was what? 10 years? Was it 10 years ago?
Not quite 10.
2015,
I would say 5 to 8 years ago, the new 52,
Because what he was doing is he was doing all this hatch work on top of each other, all the rendering lines on top of each other. But he was, because it's the computer, he was lightening the line weight, and he was doing textures within the line itself. Because with a brush, You know how with the computer you can add textures into the.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was amazing though. Like it was just a friggin' panel, and it was so detailed it could have been a poster.
Oh,
Just one panel from a page, and
there was
it was
one guy
incredible.
in this, and you said he was kind of aping Jim. There was one guy that was aping Jim. I know he did like an Authority book where he aped Jim. And then maybe it was Suicide Squad where he was like he wasn't aping the rendering style, but he was aping the structure and then the faces.
It's the same guy.
Okay, it's the same guy. I remember when he showed up, and I'm like, he got a job. He got a job aping Jim. What am I doing wrong?
Isn't that weird? Isn't that funny how that happens? Like you're like, what the fuck, dude?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. Who knows? The Lord works in mysterious ways. Creating tone and zip no longer available is what sent me down. Stippling. Oh yeah. Stippling is beautiful, but it's time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
Just time consuming is probably the trying Gene Colan. He always used the side of his pencil.
Yeah, but that's old school where you just know it's all going to be solid black and flat.
And the other thing is those guys inking them back then, it was just all understood. Like, we're cranking through this. There was no like, oh, I don't like the way this guy inked me. It's like, no, let's get this shit done and move on to the book.
And you know what's funny? If you look at those rates, if you look at the rates that they were paid at that time period, and it was okay to do 5 pages a day of inks or more, you look at what the page rate is now today, and if you try to do that speed, you wouldn't have a job.
Oh yeah.
And those guys were making bank. Those guys were making so much money. They talk about the hardships of those days. You're like, dude, you were making so much more money per page.
Oh yeah. Well, I buried the lead. I think we just went over 15,000.
Oh, dude, we went way over it. Is it at 15,335?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah. It's the Jim Lee talk.
Yeah, well, I mean, the chat knows. The chat knows. You get me and Rob, like, you get me and Rob going. Like, we don't even care what the hell else is going around. The house could be burning down, and we're talking Incan, we're talking Jim Lee. It's
like a Wildcats.
Get the Patriots going.
Remember that issue that Richard Bennett inked of Jim Lee?
I do remember it.
He inked him a few times. It was amazing.
He inked the shit out, and like Jim let him do some like loose finishes because there had to be a deadline thing. It was the thing where Spartan and Zealot kiss in that full page splash.
Is that the one with it was the Savage Dragon issue that Jim drew? Because they also did that.
Yeah, they also did that, but this was a separate one than this. Yeah. Like,
okay, I do remember that one.
That dude inked the living fuck out of him, but it had a totally different look.
Yeah, he gave him some zip tone textures and stuff.
Yeah. He went.
My favorite Richard Bennett piece that I ever did was he did the double page spread, the double cover for Deathblow and Wolverine. Do you remember that where they're both super wide and Deathlow's holding the 2 guns? It was in a Wizard. It was in a Wizard ad, and he's holding 2 guns, and there's ammunition, there's brass everywhere.
Was this who was the artist? It was
Aaron Weisenfeld did the
Aaron
inside,
Weisenfeld.
and it's like, why did you have Richard Bennett do this amazing, super detailed cover, and then Weisenfeld with his new fucking style with no line weight? And they said, oh, it was like everyone kissed his ass and it was an amazing book. I'm like, you had all this rendering on the cover, and then because Weisenfeld did do lots of rendering on.
It was a weird combo. What I'll tell you is that Aaron Weisenfeld Wolverine issues. It was Deathblow. It was like a Deathblow 1-2 part book.
Yeah,
but in its own way, like he is the closest to like touch just some of the energy Travis had. To me, it was a different look.
Yeah,
but it was so atmospheric. Like he drew like those things over the hills in San Francisco and the people walking up the street. I can see why not everybody would be thrilled by it. And
I hated it.
Yeah, the inker was not right. You should not waste Richard Bennett on that kind of like.
Well, he just did the cover. He drew the cover.
The cover, yeah. Because
Yeah, but it's like,
there was
why?
one. Go ahead.
It's like having Alex Ross do a painted cover, and then the inside is just whoever. You had such a difference in styles where you had Richard Bennett doing super crazy, detailed, super exaggerated anatomy for Deathblow and Wolverine, and then Aaron Wiesenfeld is trying to do his pseudo realistic interiors.
Yeah, and I don't even know how to describe. Yeah, I don't even know how to describe what Aaron Wiesenfeld was done. And I think like literally his whole comic career is like 3 books there.
No, he did. He launched Team 7 with Wildcats, or he will launch Team 7, and they were his people were weird. It looked like he had learned how to draw by looking at Portasio, but he had crazy amount of rendering on those issues. But then at some point I think when the market tanked, he's like, why am I spending, 16 hours on a page?
Yeah.
So that was his new type of style, his new more economical European style.
Yeah.
And it could have been his original
that's what it
style.
was. It was very European. It was very like the Mobius kind of these open like terrain. Like everything was like you weren't putting all the detail in. It was interesting. I will say that. I'm sure it was not for everybody, but I did enjoy. But like literally, he drew like a handful of books, and like the last time I saw him, I looked around for him one time, and it was fine art paintings that he was.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, he went into the real high end art side of it. So
Richard Bennett, when he saw that the money was disappearing, he went back to school, and he was the last I heard he was designing for Ford. He graduated and was immediately hired for his design work.
Yep.
Because he was learning how
these guys are talented designers, and like, you'll get scooped up. Randy, Southern Cecil, Marcus, I appreciate it. We hit 15K tonight. Actually,
that's fantastic. That's very cool.
I'm gonna celebrate and have a splash of the good stuff here.
Ooh, what is it? You gotta tell us.
It is the Woodford Reserve.
Is that a whiskey, a bourbon? I don't know my liquor.
Yeah, bourbon.
I don't even know if I've tried bourbon before. I'm just
gonna have a little bit. I'm not gonna have a whole. Because I'm already about 5 vodka Mountain Dews in. So
oh damn, dude! I'm just drinking Diet Mountain Dew.
Oh, I know, and I should be too, but it's Mother's Day.
Wow!
So
Cheers, dude. Cheers with my rat ass or ass ratty. My ratty,
I gotta get
Iron Man Black Widow cup.
Nice. Well, and this is my cheat day, so I'll have to get back to my diet tomorrow. So a little bit of the good stuff tonight, and then back to restraint.
So superiors, it's where we're past 15K.
We are past 15K. I'm very happy with this. This is kind of like I said, we've had some hiccups in the campaign, but they haven't deterred where I'm going with this. So I'm actually very happy to be at this at the first 30 days.
You should describe the actual books that you can get, because I know there's the supplemental. There's that who style. You should hit those, because I always am curious about those.
Yeah, let me pull it up here, and we'll take a little closer look. But the main book is Superiors #1 with the 5 variants. But then there are 2 supplemental books with this campaign. So right here on the right, I do a tier with each of the different covers, cover A, B, C, D, and then the yellow flash cover variant. But then there are the 2 supplemental books, the Early Visions and the Who's Who. And so the Early Visions book, like, I've been working on the Superiors for, I've said it a couple times now, 20 years. I've been doing different versions of this. I've drawn out pages, submitted them to small presses. This book actually had at one time got approved at Image, and then that kind of fell through on me, which was a massive disappointment to say the least. But
Oh, dude.
I've got all the art from those early versions of this book, and hence the Early Visions book. So the Early Visions book is going to be early versions of this book that I have drawn, and different styles. Like there's one my Alan Davis phase that I went through that I still sometimes dip into, and then one is my Travis Charest, where I was really trying to emulate Travis to varying degrees of success. But yeah, you can see each of these versions and some early artwork and stuff. So just like if you want to look through an artist process in the process of creating a book, the Early Visions book is going to have, and it's going to be packed with artwork. That's all it's going to be. It's going to be artwork from these earlier versions of the book, and the whole book is going to be that. And then the Who's Who book, I've done a ton of variant covers, the Blue Bombshell cover, the retro cover, the Titan versus Brute cover. I'm going to be doing more of that stuff, but they're basically going to be pinups in this book. And then there's going to be a Who's Who section in the book that gives you a listing of all the superiors. There's a bunch of heroes in there, and it's going to give you kind of their origin, their background, their powers, and there's going to be it's going to be basically a half pinup and a half write-up on the character on each of those pages, plus all the variant cover pinups and stuff. So again, a ton of artwork, and you'll get a little backstory on each of the characters. There's a bunch of people on the team. You don't get the full story on all of them throughout the story just because there's so much action happening. But yeah, the Who's Who book, it's the classic DC Who's Who Marvel Universe, where it gives you the backdrop on each of the characters. So those are the two supplemental books. You can get those with a variant cover for $75, and get all three books. And then there's, if you scroll down here a little bit, you can get all of the variants plus the supplemental. So kind of got a little option for everybody depending on what you're looking for there.
Nice.
Yep. So
that's awesome.
Yep.
It looks like the Who's Who. It's popular. It's because it's like 22 sold so far of the cover A, the Who's Who, and is it Visions? Is that the other?
Early Visions. Yep. Who's Who and Early Visions. Yep.
Yeah.
Between the variants, and that's the thing is like all the variants, like this cover right here, and then the X-Men 268 have been the two most popular of the variants. So they're the two most popular of the Who's Who in the Early Visions book too, which is fine. It's kind of why you do variants is there's going to be keep an eye out for Patrick. Oh, he's closing Zorro. And that's the thing is, and somebody mentioned this earlier, is I think on Thursday we went up against Billy Tucci. And, I'm stoked that there's as many people in the chat tonight. Like this is great. But, there's so much Comicsgate every night. There's shows on every night. So some nights we're going to bump up against people, and that's fine. And like people are going to get a bigger audience, but like me and Rob, we're just gonna get on here and bullshit, and if there's people here, that's awesome.
Well,
and if there isn't as many people, that's awesome too. It's like you can catch us on the replay because I know like some of the show. Yeah,
people keep saying we need, like, hey, you see me on Kings, and I can be on a channel with a lot more people, and a lot more people are watching it. But then I'm just making a joke every couple of 5 minutes or whatever. And then everyone's like, you got to do your YouTube. You got to have a YouTube channel. And I'm like, dude, I am a sour son of a bitch when it's just me by myself. I am no fun at all. So I would, if you and I can just sit here and chat and push books and talk about comics, and people actually get to see that we're in it because we love, come on, man. I know how many different times in my career where things would go high and then they'd go a little low. I could have changed.
Oh
There's
yeah.
probably 6 times, major times in my career, I could have just said F comic books, just walked away and started a brand new career. And I would be like right now in sitting in some office with a tie on a Sunday night going,
Yeah.
4 more years and I'll be able to retire.
Yeah.
Like that would be the only point of the job, would be like looking at my 401k and if I had a pension.
Oh yeah.
Literally, that would be the only thing I would be looking forward to.
No, I mean, people who are working in comics, there are better opportunities. You're working in comics because you absolutely love doing comics.
Yeah, it's for the love,
Yeah.
of the
And the thing
art,
is,
the love of the story.
Like, this is probably the best I've done pushing a book, but like me and Rob get on here and we forget about pushing the book in about the first 5 minutes. So
I have a question for you.
Yep.
Okay, your guy that kind of looks like Wolverine without being sued, with the feathers.
He's got wings.
Yeah, is he your version of Nighthawk from Defenders? And am I saying that character's name right? Is that
Nighthawk. I'm trying to think of what would be.
But is Nighthawk in the Defenders? I guess that would be my first question.
Nighthawk is absolutely in the Defenders. And I think at one point was Nighthawk part of the Squadron Supreme, and he was the Batman version. Yeah.
Yes. I always wondered why he never had his own book, because he was always, to me, the most interesting of the Defenders characters.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And I thought he had a miniseries at one point. I thought
and if he did, he either gave
this
it
was
to a
80s.
new guy.
I would say 80s. Yeah.
Someone who just hacked it out super fast, and a writer who did.
Yeah. So again, this is like kind of like, this is my hodgepodge. This is my ode to Avengers, Justice League. So this is kind of my Hawkman, but then like the Wolverine costume fit because like Hawkman's got those wings coming up. Mm-hmm. So if you see on the edges, there's like little nicks in there, so it's more wings than.
But I like it though. Yeah. I like that look. It reminds me of Nighthawk, and Nighthawk is one of my favorite non-favorite characters.
Oh, okay,
yeah, absolutely. So it's cool. A character that never gets anything.
Marcus says you hate everything, so
I do hate everything except for the things I don't hate.
You like Bloodwing, I think is.
Yeah, that's his name, Bloodwing. Yeah. I like that. I like that look. It's cool.
Yeah,
plus, I love characters who have wings, because of all the detail that you can add just by rendering the shit out of them.
You just go hash on all those wings. Mm-hmm. There's a trick to doing it, so it makes it look really nice. So
Finch always did a fantastic job on it.
Oh,
so Finch. I always look at Finch or Ed Benes when he did some JLA with Hawkman. He did some pretty damn good wings also.
No, those
good
guys.
Feathers.
Yeah, those are all you're naming.
The guys that DC can't afford anymore.
Well, that's the thing is what are all these guys doing now? It's like, where's Ed Benes?
Well, for one thing, we know what Dave Finch is doing. He's got his own Twitch, and he's doing oil paintings.
Yeah,
doing like, okay, if you're a Dave Finch fan and you spend $5-6 grand on a Batman cover, now you can buy a Dave Finch friggin' oil painting.
Oh, is he painting? Is that what he's doing?
Oil paints.
Oh, wow.
Well, there's a buddy of his who's a painter. They will get on those streams together.
Yep.
And Dave Finch learned how to monetize his learning how to paint. Because he already kind of could paint. He did some stuff. He did a Disturbed. He did a Disturbed album cover and stuff. But now I think he's learned how to paint within a week. He can sit down and he can paint an amazing piece in a day. So, dude, why would he ever come back to
No, and I know Finch has a channel and that he's just killing it over there. He's got a huge following. I think he's doing his own book through Image or something, but I don't know if it's come out or anything yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna butcher this guy's name, and I am gonna apologize ahead of time. But I want to also thank you for being backer 251, and I'm gonna go with Jaqueo. You can let me know how bad I butcher it, but I'm gonna go with Jaqueo, and if that is how it's pronounced, that's a cool sounding name.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is it Spanish or French?
That you're asking the wrong. Bloodwing does have a trident because why wouldn't a
Ooh.
flying guy have a trident? You just like
That way he can throw it at you from
yeah,
a
it's a
distance.
little Ron Burgundy. I killed a man. I killed a man with a trident. I know you did. You're gonna probably have to leave town.
That's awesome, dude. This is also the zoom in, man. This is a great shot of your main Superman character.
Oh yeah,
Well,
it's
I always forget his name.
we
I
got
forget everyone's name.
we got Venus there. Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing with the touchscreen, man. It's War Eagle, Titan.
Oh, that's a good name. Titan.
Yep.
Titan. Nice.
Shadow Knight. Shadow Knight, I've got a whole story about. So
Oh,
if
dude,
this
and with
does
that
good enough,
face.
yeah, if this does good enough, I've got a Shadow Knight story that will blow. It's something that you could. I mean, I don't know if I'd ever have the opportunity, but it'd be something you could turn into a movie and develop.
Oh, that's cool.
Just some characters hit you different, and
Mhm.
you just kind of go deeper into their story. I've got Shadow Knight's like whole story. Oh, hopefully that's
Oh, you seem
Jaqueo
perfect.
saying that I pronounced his name perfectly. And if I did, awesome, man. And thanks for backing. It's Ninja Gaiden. Okay. I don't know what that means. Oh, is that maybe
It's a video game.
Oh, okay.
Is Ninja
Okay.
Gaiden a video game?
Yeah, you're probably right. I that's the one thing I know like comic fans, comic artists and everything. I've never been a big video game guy. I never got into it early on. A few years back, I finally got a PS4, and I literally just got it for Star Wars Battlefronts. And, like
Yeah.
literally, that's I bought it because I see those commercials. Like, I want to go play Star Wars, man. That's all.
Yeah.
And and I hadn't played video games hardly ever before, so I sucked at it, but I played Battlefront for probably like a year and a half straight trying to get better so I could go into the battles and not just get annihilated like in the first 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played that, and then I played Red Dead Redemption. Those are the 2 games I played.
I played that. I played
Red Dead Redemption was so fun because you could
Yeah.
just kind of go off and you do your own thing.
Yeah.
And it was like you were in a Western movie. Go into town. I'd go into town. I'd play poker. I'd go to the bar. You know,
it was great, like, except for the damn draw when you had to draw against the villain, the main boss at the end.
Oh, see,
that
and I never even got close
to learn how to get fast enough to fight him. And I'm like, I love this game, except for to get past certain levels, you have to do the speed draw against the main bad guy. And I'm like, fuck this. Everything about this game is great until that. Because before that, you know how you're just blasting away.
Oh, yeah. Just
shoot a guy on the street, you know, and then you reload. And wouldn't the like circle things come up as you try to hit the hit points on the bad guys or some shit?
Yeah.
I haven't played that game in so long. I get motion sick with those new games. So with Mario 64,
with the movement.
Yeah, so Mario 64 was the first game that made me like, I'm laying on the ground, just holding myself like in the fetal position, saying, if I move, I'm gonna puke. If I don't move, I'm gonna puke all over the carpet in front of the TV. And it finally went away. So now when I play video games, I ride the recumbent bike, and that's how I lost a lot of the weight when I was at CrossFit. Because I would sit and play. I think it was Gauntlet on one of the PlayStations for like an hour before I'd go to work and just be cranking on that goddamn recumbent bike, you know, and it had resistance cranked way up. So before I even ate, I would put in like an hour 15.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, that slow grinding. It's not really cardio, but it's fat burning when you
No, it's you're getting a workout from it for sure. Yeah, and like just what you were talking about, even in Red Redemption, like I never got anywhere close to what you were talking about. Like I am such a video game noob. I was just happy to ride my horse around in the countryside, and occasionally I would do something that like I'm like, oh, that felt like I like did part of an adventure. But yeah.
It was cool though. It was immersive, dude. It was fun.
It was so like I
You get
was
to be a cowboy without having to learn how to ride a horse or get sunburned.
exactly no. I had a ton of fun with that. But yeah, that was me dipping my toes in the video game stuff. But like literally, I haven't played that much of it since then. But you know what? I did pull all this stuff up. Gorlock, you look ravishing. We got a lady in the chat, gentlemen. Let's all be respectful, and we're all classy here. But Gorlock the Destroyer,
Destroyer.
you're so sweet. Thank you, Randy. Oh, that is epic. And I mean, I think like everybody knows Gorlock from that the video on Twitter and TikTok. I think it's the same girl from that panel of girls that was getting interviewed. If I'm not remembering it right. Oh, that is epic. I love some of these dudes' Twitter handles. Like and he's not in here tonight, but Bob Newfart. I see Bob Newfart's name and like it kills me. It slays me every fucking time because I like grew up on Newhart. Like that music plays. Like I don't know. It doesn't matter what's happening in my life, how stressed out I'm in. The Newhart music plays that like symphony. It just mellows me out. Just the innkeeper and Larry Darrell and Daryl. Oh yes, correct. I am correct on I know a hot chick when I see one, girl. That is freaking epic. That's what I agree with Citizen Roman. That is one handsome woman there.
You guys have been drinking.
I've been drinking just a little bit. The good stuff hits fast, Rob.
Oh, I know. Well, actually, I don't know.
And it's smooth.
Rum and diet. So I filtered that shit. I slowed that shit down with Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke.
Yeah, I can't force myself to mix the good bourbon with like I'll take the Jim Beam. I love a good Jim Beam and 7, but that's a little easier to do than the good stuff. Oh yeah, and it's kicking in right now. You know what? You know what? I had a topic for tonight. It's why Henry Cavill can't be Superman anymore. So
poor. Wait, you know what? You told me that they found a lookalike. Would that be the lookalike that did the Netflix series, the CIA show?
No, I don't think it's the.
Because he also played he played Adam Smasher in Black Adam. That dude's a big dude, and he does have kind of a
no, it isn't that guy, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
That guy plays a big goof.
He does in the Black Adam movie.
Yeah.
But I thought he was terrific in that Netflix spy movie.
Yeah.
Me and my wife, we watched every episode. That was the best new show of this season. I love that show.
I know. Well, that's like when I talk about favorite movies of the year that I watched, half of them aren't movies. Half of them are streaming seasons shows.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like Stranger Things, the latest season of Stranger Things, I thought was awesome. Like my top 5 favorite movies. One of them is Stranger Things, which wasn't even a freaking movie.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Kind of have to label it that way. So
yeah, and I mean the thing is now like with streaming, it's like stream movies, TV series, it all kind of blends together with streaming.
Yeah.
What was the name of the show on Netflix? The spy.
It wasn't called CIA.
No.
Oh,
Newhart's wife was hot. Joanna, her sweaters.
Yeah.
We're going back to Newhart now. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, what was his show called when he was the dentist?
Was it The Recruit?
Oh, Recruit's the show. Yeah, I was just
The,
about to go.
the
Yes,
Recruit is
Recruit.
the Netflix show. When he was
Yeah.
the dentist, it was called the Bob Newhart Show.
Okay,
And then when he was the innkeeper, it was just called Newhart.
Oh, okay.
So he was real original with the
Well, that's the idea though, because then he's a producer and he gets a check.
yeah.
It's more,
And then
it's more about the money.
The end of, spoiler alert, but the end of Newhart, he wakes up and he's in bed with Suzanne Plachette, his wife from the Bob Newhart show.
And he has
and he wakes up and he said, I just had this crazy dream. I was an innkeeper in Vermont and I was married to this beautiful woman. She always wore these sweatshirts. And Suzanne Plachette's like, well, tell me more about this woman. Like the jealous wife.
Yeah.
And I mean, in a way it was terrible, but another way it was just hilarious.
No, I remember
Gorlock
that.
Or Chris Farley. Gorlock is beautiful, but I mean, it's hard to beat Farley. Fat man in a little coat.
Fat man in a little coat.
I saw Spade one time stand up.
Oh, dude!
And if you can ever see David Spade live, and if you love Farley and Spade in those movies, go see Spade, because he does a whole bit and he talks about Farley, and it's just like, I love Spade. I think he's freaking hilarious. But then he does the bit about, Farley, and he talks about him, and it's just epic. It's absolutely epic. It's definitely worth seeing live.
Did you see the Adam Sandler tour he did, where they pieced together different segments from different tours he did? Yeah. Like, it was all, because you know how those guys, like, if you're gonna do before you film a special, you practice it all over the country at different comedy clubs.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay.
So they had pieces from different comedy clubs as part of the special, the 2-hour special. But he had a whole section just for Chris Farley, and it was awesome.
Yeah, no,
it was very cool. He had a tribute to Chris Farley, and it was very cool.
Gorlock's
See you later,
everybody.
Gorlock.
Thanks for stopping by, Gorlock. We always appreciate having a lady in the house. A little bit.
Maybe around the cheeks.
Yeah,
around the cheeks.
And again,
puffy around the cheeks.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's greatest acting role, Airplane. He's the co-pilot. Co-pilot in the first one, right?
Well, he also he was the bad guy at the end of the Bruce Lee movie.
Yeah, but he was too.
I never watched that. Yeah, I never watched it.
He wasn't the final bad guy. I think he was one of the, like, Bruce Lee has to go up through certain levels, and like I think he's like the next to the last.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, everything in Airplane was freaking hilarious.
Oh, see, by the time that came out, I remember seeing it on TV as a kid, and it was already over my head. I've never watched it since.
Airplane was?
It was too cheesy. It's too 80s or 70s. So
yeah, and I mean, it's a taste thing for everybody. Like, I can get into some cheesy, like, dumb cheesy comedy. So sometimes I'm in the mood for that. Edwin Reed, Raid of the. Oh, okay. This is Raid of the White Leopard. I've seen this around. I've got to give this campaign a look. I've seen people talking about it, but I think this is a live campaign right now.
Yeah, he was on Andy Smith's show.
Okay, he was on Andy's show. Okay, yeah, I've seen it around. I've got to give the campaign a look. But yeah, if you guys are in the chat and haven't checked this out yet, definitely check this out, because he's been making the rounds. And again, I'll say building the channel up. So if you guys are new here, if you can hit the like button and then hit subscribe. I'm trying to build subscribers up. So appreciate everybody in the chat tonight. But yeah, hit the like button and hit subscribe. It'll really help my channel out. Me and Rob are kind of getting this ball rolling, and this the early stages of it. So you want to be one of those guys that jumps in early when me and Rob just become gigantic influencers, and
Oh, don't say that. I hate that word.
It's gonna. Oh no, that's what we are, Rob. We're comics influencers,
dude.
It's
influencers is so like arrogant.
Me,
someone who calls himself an influencer.
Jake Paul, like, it's all the same. But like, we're probably gonna end up having to fight like Jake Paul. It'll be like the two of us versus Jake Paul. in like a UFC match. And I mean, it's going to be the battle of the influencers. And like Jake's young and tall and strong, and you and I are not those things anymore. So it'll probably be an even fight.
And he studied. He was a boxer in college.
Yeah.
So
well, no, I mean, he's obviously not a real boxer, but he's done okay. And the motherfucker knows how to make money. I'll give him credit for that shit. Those Paul brothers are making bank.
As long as we get paid to get our ass kicked by one dude, I don't.
We're not going to get our ass kicked, Rob. We're going to win. Like I'm going.
Are you kidding me? Wait,
I'm going nut punch right away.
Have you ever been punched in the face? There's a lot of people who don't fight after they get punched in the face by a professional.
No, I got punched in the face in probably middle school.
So this dude,
I got punched in the face twice in like between 9th and 11th grade. Never when I was a senior.
Okay, so this guy's over 6 feet tall. He's at least 185.
Yeah.
He's all muscular. He's got no fat on him, and he's gonna have MMA gloves on. And he's gonna punch you in the face as hard as he can.
Yeah.
I will stand behind you.
Yeah.
And use you as a block.
If I can have a couple of drinks before we go in there, we're getting through the first round because I can absorb some damage.
Dude, that's 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
I know. We got to pace ourselves.
That's a long 3 minutes when someone's beating the shit out of you.
I'm not saying it's a guarantee. There's always risk involved, Rob.
I have a question. What we get paid?
Well, is
it based on how many rounds we make? Is it like it's a performance? If you guys can make it 2 rounds,
I want guaranteed money for just stepping 1 foot in the ring.
But are there bonuses? Bonuses if we last longer?
I want a baseline money and then bonuses for lasting. I think we can get through I think the two of us can get through the first round against.
Okay, well, I can if I'm going to get paid, and I'm going to get paid a lot more the longer we last.
Yeah,
I'm going to train.
Well,
I'm going to go to my shady doctors so that when I show up, I am juiced to the gills.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I want a little oomph going on, but I also want you. I don't want you hiding behind me. I want you circling to the right.
Oh no! I was
in 2 things to focus on.
I was in wrestling. I was in wrestling for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I was in karate, and I was in karate for 2 months.
Okay.
So
that's
a skill set.
That's 2.5 months of combat training there. So.
Exactly.
So you've already got me beat. I wouldn't say that I've ever been in fights. I've been in scuffles.
When my brother would give me shit, and I was because I'm 2 years older than him. So when I had my growth spurt, and he would still give me shit, what I would do is I would grab a hold of him, squeeze him, and pick him up.
Oh, okay.
And then he wouldn't be able to breathe, and then I'd drop him. Yeah. I don't think I could do that to Logan Paul or Jake Paul.
You could if I distract him. If I distract him.
I don't know if I can pick. Well, I guess it depends on how juiced up I am. If I can pick him up.
Yeah, we both gotta go in there just full of gusto.
We both try to bear hug squeeze him.
Yes.
We're a sandwich.
Well, yeah, and like that's the thing. Can we wear padded suits? Can we wear some protection?
Do I get a helmet?
Yeah. Can I bring in a weapon? You can't throw a punch properly.
Citizen Ronin. There is some great juice that power lifters use that gives you amazing strength for 15 minutes. That will be the last thing I take before I walk out into the octagon. Like,
give me my 15 minutes and let's get out of here. But the money's got to be right. Like they're going to have to talk to our management.
Yeah, yeah. I'm because I know I'm going to have reconstructive surgery on my face afterwards. So I'm going to need at least. I would say I have to at least with bonus, at least make like 300,000-500,000. That's just for me. So Clint is going to want more than that.
No, if I get the money, I don't care what my face looks like afterwards. It'll heal up. Like you
got to be able to breathe out your nose, right?
Well, you can reset
in your jaw. Your jaw could be broken.
Just do one of those little and pop it right back into place. It'll heal eventually. I'll take a beating for the money, is what I'm saying.
I want some insurance. I want some insurance to.
But
I want to be able to see out of both eyes.
These are the things you have to be concerned with when you become like powerful influencers. Like we're on the verge of becoming. Like literally, no, I'm not joking, because like we got 13 people in the chat. I saw 14 and 15 earlier. Like, no, don't laugh, man. I am super stoked for everybody in the chat tonight. Hail Comics and hail chat is what I say.
Yeah, I just would like to sell some copies of Death Raider. Well, I don't need to get into MMA fights.
Speaking,
Clint's dragging me into the octagon all of a sudden.
Yeah, you never know. You never know where life is going to take you, Rob, and you got to be prepared for it. So I want to get you in the. Well, and plus I'm drinking bourbon, but I want to get you in the. That has nothing to do with anything, but I want to get you in the right head frame. But speaking of head frames, and boom, thunder, except I probably didn't pop up yet. And then I'll say, boom, thunder.
Oh, there it is.
Death Raider.
Ooh, Death Raider.
I love this book, and I know a lot of you in the chat love this book.
I am doing pencils, inks, markers. I'm writing it, and my wife, who is she's smarter than me, and she's
always get a wife that's smarter than you. It makes life better.
Yes. So I will be writing all the dialogue, and then she will go in and improve all the dialogue for me. So it will be a well-written book by the time the two of us are finished with the edits.
I just can never get over the art here. Like, that's just character design. Like, that is the coolest fucking looking character I have seen in a long damn time.
Well, you know what bums me out a little bit is everybody loves that design, but he doesn't have his cape. He doesn't have his cape and his hood there because I left it off like it's,
Oh, well, yeah.
Like it's like a rebuilding. It's like his rebuilding.
Yeah, he's all still strapped into the machinery and stuff. But.
Oh yeah, he's in the mechanics bay.
Yeah.
But the charging unit, I think I named that cover the tune-up cover. So.
Okay.
And there's his co-host in this book.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful co-host.
It's the super spy Anna. She was supposed to steal all the secrets from Team Core, which the main character Cody Moore is a MARSOC Marine who's assigned to Team Core, and they got a little bit of juice going on. They got some of that secret, a little bit of the secret super soldier type formula.
I've got some juice going on for her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Me too. And
that's a character I can get behind.
Oh, that's a lot of people made that joke. That's great. So
that is one of your variant covers for Death Raider too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. That is the Anna cover. And
that is awesome.
I think cover C.
Yeah.
Or is it cover D? Because the black and white is cover C, I believe. The midnight cover. I named the covers, so it's
and that's a good idea too.
And then there's a T-shirt. The T-shirt's brand new.
That T-shirt looks freaking awesome.
And it around the hex it says it's time to fuck shit up. So he's got his catchphrase on the
Your
T-shirt.
Catchphrase for the book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I always remember asking, because remember when Jim Starlin wrote, he worked with Bernie Wrightson, and they did The Cult for Batman, but they also did a Punisher story.
Okay.
I think it was before that. And I asked him, what was his, because I was a big Punisher fan, and he said he wasn't really familiar with Punisher, but when he asked the editor what should be his approach for Punisher, and the editor was like, anything he comes across, he blows up. Just think of it that way. The Punisher's idea is that he's gonna just destroy. He's gonna he's going to smash everything that he
walking
comes across.
mayhem. He's just a
Exactly.
wrecking ball. Yep.
And so when I created Death Raider, that's what I wanted Death Raider to be, especially because all the shit that happens to him. I mean, he's a Marsoc Marine, so he's literally trained to blow shit up, for the United States government. So I just wanted that it's time to fuck shit up. Like that's his, dude. I mean, he's missing his legs from his knees down, and he builds himself a super powered armored suit. So he's a little unhinged at that. And he had a wonderful synthetic steroid rushing through him. So he's got a little bit of that steroid rage,
Oh yeah.
So it's time to fuck shit up.
And the other thing is like how cinematic your artwork is here. I mean, I'm blown away by just the lighting and everything you're doing. Like this is epic level. Like when I'm looking at these panels here, then I mean, it's like I can zoom in, but it's like the lighting, the cape, everything, the edges of the building. Like this just looks freaking stellar. This looks like stills from the movie that's going to happen for it.
Well, dude, I'm trying to. It's funny because sometimes I think I try to be a little too realistic and not enough comic. When I see other, to be honest, when I see other campaigns that are doing a lot better than mine, I go, do I have 2 feet in realism and I'm not being?
I don't think that's what it is. A lot of it is just. It takes a little time. Like just because you have a beautiful book doesn't mean everybody's seen it yet.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
And that's a little bit of what's going on is just like people just haven't seen your stuff yet. And that's where, doing this stuff really helps. Just getting people want to come and hang out and hear about the books and talk to the creators. I always say this is like a 24/7 comic book convention, and your YouTube channel is your table at the con.
Yeah, and that's a good way to put it.
And so, like your art, like God, this face, like the detail, the work you did with the white in here, like, are you using whiteout with a brush or like? Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing with the white here?
Well, my process is that I do like figure construction on the computer.
Yeah.
And then it's pencils over top of it, and then I hit everything with the gray markers because that's where I'm using a lot of lighting reference and photo reference and shit like that. Then I ink it, because I've kind of grayed out a bunch of stuff with the gray markers, and then I look back and I'm like, how can I pack even more detail into it? So that's when I hit with the whiteout. So the whiteout, I'm cutting into the gray tones, the gray marker. I'm cutting into the blacks, and I'm just trying to use that 30 years as an inker, all those textures that I tried to do, and went a little nuts with on some of my pencilers, and they got a little upset with. Now I can do it over myself, and I can go, yo, dude, you gotta calm the F down, and that's what I'm just trying to do. I've noticed that I've got I'm trying to fit the like the tone, and I know I render the shit out of when it's the death rate. You know how you always look at it and go, wait a minute, Jim Lee, how can Batman be so rendered?
Yeah.
And then the female character,
but I love it.
No rendering.
Yeah,
I don't think catch myself doing that. I catch myself doing that where the female
but I don't think there's over
tone.
rendering. I think it's just I just think it looks like you can render the crap out of something and just make it look awesome, and that's I think what you're doing here. I think.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate.
And this panel right here, like I love every bit. Like that dude's arm when he's holding the gun, like just the lighting on the faces. I love everything about this page.
Oh, thank you, man.
Like, I think what the only thing is just more people need to see this book, and I think when that happens, like,
and I understand a lot of people are waiting to see the colors too.
Yeah.
You know, I'm working with Pixel. Um, and like I put on Twitter, the tune-up cover has been colored. It's funny. I'm treating the colors the way I treat the black and whites. Where oh no, I know, Randy. You mentioned that before, and I appreciate it because you know it's not like I'm gonna give up. I mean, dude,
Yeah.
I've been in comics for 30 years. I'm not fucking giving up, man.
No.
You know, there's going to be Death Raider 1, there's going to be Death Raider 2.
And the thing
There might be sorry.
First Pirate Queen did 30,000. The second Pirate Queen did 52,000. So it's like it's getting the word out there, and then the second campaign, and then you can offer the first book with the second campaign, and like people can catch up. So it's it's dipping your foot in and then like just kind of immersing yourself in, and then you're swimming around. It's like it's just kind of in stages. But the thing is, there's a ton of competition too, you know.
Oh, dude, there's so much competition right now. I knew that ahead of time. That's why I didn't switch to computer. I still do all the artwork. So there's penciled originals.
Original art. Yeah,
because I want to be able to sell it, and I knew it from the beginning. I'm like, this book I might make more money off of selling the artwork than selling books.
The original
and
art.
I planned. I kind of planned for that.
No, and absolutely, that's a really good idea because and I mean I mean Ethan has art auctions, you know, throughout the year, and I mean a couple of these pages on there, you know, will be a big deal. But yeah, there's just a ton of good creators out there, and like I said, like there's competition YouTube channels, and I mean that's, to me, I'm fine with that. Like, you know, let's get out there and mix it up, and like everybody's going to find the books they're interested in, and then the longer you're here, the more people are getting to know you. It just, you know, it's like anything else, you know, the more work you put into it, the more and it is promoting yourself, which is, you know, not everybody's used to doing. It's like getting on these YouTube shows is a little different because, you know, most, like I go to maybe a couple conventions in a year, where this is like, you know, once a week you can get on a show and like be talking about your book. So even just doing that takes a little bit of getting used to, because
it's getting used to the schedule, dude. That's what.
And the thing is, like, as a freelancer, you're used to sitting in your room and drawing and not talking to people. Like, I'll, you know, in the middle of winter, like I get excited to drive down to the gas station and just see other people other than just sitting in my room and drawing all day. So it's like getting out and just talking about your book or what's going on in comics or anything, you know. But like, you know, me and you, like I can shoot the shit with you all night long and not have a problem. So it works out good.
Yeah, we have fun talking about comics and the techniques and the drawing behind it and all that good stuff. So it's like, dude, I disappeared and only did like the bare minimum of YouTube for like 3 weeks, just trying to catch up to the schedule I set up for Death Raider.
Oh yeah.
You know, so that's the biggest learning curve I've had so far, is one, accepting I don't need my own YouTube channel. I just need to be able to talk on other people's shows. And two, the scheduling part, where I know, hey, you are going to spend a couple of hours in the evening, because it used to be honest, as an inker, that's when I would catch up. I would catch up in the evening. That was always like, you know, I'd let shit get in the way or get in front of me, or, you know, go run errands and stuff. And then I'd be, you know, my premium, the golden time for inking usually was between 6 o'clock and midnight. Now I'm learning, well, dude, that's also the YouTube time.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, you know, you've got to adjust a little bit and make sure that when you sit down to work, you're friggin' working and you get your shit done, because at, you know, 6 o'clock or 9 o'clock, you've got to talk about the book. You got to talk about comics with people. So
there's plenty of artists out there that like their prime time work time is like after 8 p.m. Like when
Yeah.
everybody else is going to sleep, everything's quiet, nobody's bothering you, the family's in bed, and all of a sudden you can draw for like, you know, I know artists that like draw until 2-3 in the morning when deadlines are, you know, it's like that's just normal operating procedure. So
oh yeah,
yep.
Dale Keown did an interview in Wizard where he said that one of the reasons he worked through the night is because there's nothing opened.
Yep.
There's no distractions. He
no
can't
distractions.
Go.
Yep.
Yeah, he can't go anywhere. There's nothing's open. There's no place to go. So when he set up his schedule, it was he would work all night, you know, just because of that. You know, you don't have to like, oh man, I'm missing out on this. No, you're not missing out on jack because everyone else is sleeping.
Yep, there's nothing else going on. Well, here, you know, I did have a topic. So, did you want to go through Death Raider a little bit more?
Oh, okay.
I can scroll down because there is. I mean, yeah, you got the color pinups here. Yeah, I love that green light like splashed against the black.
Dude.
Yeah,
Pixel does the bright, flashy special effects so well that
those highlights.
Yeah, he does
highlights off of his chest lights. I love that. Like,
yeah, he does a great, and I like his color choices. I'm just you know, I'm leaning on him about some of the other stuff. Like, dude, you know, color that way when it's a action scene. Don't color that way when it's supposed to be a quiet scene.
You know, sure, yeah, and that just takes a little figuring out, especially when you're working together for the
for the first time. Yeah, exactly, dude, exactly. But I'm a big fan of what he's doing. Yeah,
the highlights. I love these robotic character. I love the metallic. I mean, it's very Terminator-esque. It's very, very cool.
Dude, I designed that character that way. You know, lots of people like skulls, people like robots, people like skull stuff. I knew when I was coming. Plus, Andy Smith always tells me that he goes, dude, every hero you design looks like a bad guy. And I'm like, well, that just means I got to make the bad guys even worse than the heroes.
Even worse, exactly.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah. He goes, I guess so, because Andy is very old. He's very old school. He loves like John Byrne's Superman.
Me and Andy Smith, like we've got a lot of the same tastes. We like the old school kind of, definitely retro look. So I love Andy's stuff.
I do too. It has so much movement.
The gray tones and like the gray tones in these panels, like that chick, like I want to crawl into bed with her, man.
I had a fun with the gray tones, and literally what I was doing is I had YouTube videos opened up and I was learning how to do the gray tone marker. But I also went stupid with them, like the shower behind her. There's no reason. There's no reason to waste.
You did that warbling glass by hand?
Yeah. There's no reason to do that. Yeah.
Just get a pattern or something.
So I've learned my lesson.
That is insane. That is
those 2 pages.
You did that.
It really was me also learning the textures, because you know how you know when you're learning things.
Sometimes you play with it while you're doing the pages. Yeah.
So you know, like I told Pixel, because he did the first pass at these colors, and I'm telling him I'm like, dude, that shit's in the background. Just let's leave it in the background, like, you know. And he's got to be thinking like, dude, you spent so long on that fucking shower glass, and you want me to like de-emphasize it and just color it almost flat so it's in the background. He's like, what are you, retarded? You know. I learned a lot of lessons with those 2 pages and how long I spent on them. It doesn't mean I'm cheesing up the artwork, but hey, dude, leave the time for the figures. Leave the realistic textures for the figures. The backgrounds.
These pages are epic, man. I love the way you do the highlights in her hair, like the way you show the curls with the highlights in her hair. Like that is not an easy thing to do and make it look cool. Like, that is epic.
Oh shit, dude! There's times when I'm like, did I do it too much? Am I just going? Am I going nutty? Am I going nutty? So
no, I think it just looks fantastic, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, all this stuff, the texture and the stuff you're doing with the gray tone, like there's just so much stuff in here that's just next level insane. Like you poured in everything. Like these pages are just like absolutely gorgeous. Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
love this stuff. We just need to get more people seeing it. That's probably the only thing.
Well, I also know that from a storytelling perspective, I haven't shown any of the villains yet.
Oh yeah,
And
right.
I'm
So
working on villain pages right now because I know, like, I'm like, shit, dude, you've shown, the cannon fodder robots, and you've shown the two main characters, but we haven't seen any, we see some of the soldier guys that everybody knows they're gonna
yeah,
die. So you're like, come on, man, what are you doing? So uh I've been working on the cyborg pages right now, the evil cyborgs. So I haven't touched the Raycor Empire, all the soldiers and all
right.
of those. But you'll start to see those with the cyborgs, the evil cyborgs. So people
Yeah,
are going to start to see.
bring
I'm going to
on the
start
bad
releasing.
guys.
Yeah. Yep. Well, here's the thing, dude. You actually, part of the campaign, to bolster the campaign, the artwork is for sale on the page. You
Okay.
can buy interior pages for 300 and interior splashes for 500 through the campaign. And so far, only one person has picked up a $300,
Oh, so
interior
like
page.
these pages are sitting there waiting for people. Like they're
The
available.
whole
Yep.
Yeah, the only thing that I didn't add a tier for, just because that's the double page spreads.
Oh,
But even
sure.
the covers, are they're up for
Oh,
sale.
wow. Okay.
And for the interiors, it's one of those things like the first person who backs that tier gets first pick.
Yeah.
Second person who picks up gets the backs it, they get second pick and third
Okay.
pick, depending on how many pages they want.
And these are
So
going for 300, you said?
yeah, interior pages are 300
Because
and
if you put
splashes
these
are.
on an auction, if you put these on like Ethan's auction or any one of the CG art auctions, they're going to go for way more than that.
Well, it's I'm still giving, while it's still in demand, I'm giving everybody the chance to
First
get those
chance.
pages, and I'm that. To be honest, that's going to be the first thing I pull off of in demand. If I start chopping perks from in demand, it will be the artwork, because
Yeah.
as
Just
I get
because.
closer to printing the book, I'll be like,
And the
well,
thing is
it
once
didn't
the
help with stretch goals, so I might as well just
and once
keep.
the book comes out, like the pages are just going to go up. Like people are going to want stuff even more. And once they've got the book in their hands, you didn't get kicked off of Kings, did you?
I got I've gotten kicked off of Kings, I think twice. One time I actually showed up early at backstage and realized I forgot a couple of things, and I didn't realize my camera was still on. So when Ethan pulled me in, he was staring at the chair.
Just a blank chair. Oh god.
So that's rule number. So I got kicked off the show for the whole show.
Yeah.
And then one time, and then early on, I got kicked because it was just more people are coming in, and I'm the new guy, so I get pushed for a room. But I did get kicked the night we were closing Death Raider. But Ethan and I had already talked about Death Raider for a solid 15 minutes.
Yeah.
He made a joke, I made a joke, and I don't know if he didn't understand my joke, or I like to play like I don't understand the joke that someone's making. Like he made the gay Iceman joke, and I go, "Oh yeah, Iceman's gay, right? He's gay now." And Ethan made a weird look, and I didn't know how to react to that.
It's always
and then
hard to.
He booted me, but I was like, that was really dramatic, because I'm in backstage, and I'm like, that was a really dramatic booting me when everyone knows it's my Death Raider closeout.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's perfect. I'm leaving. And so I just left, because that was when I started having internet problems anyways. There's a lightning storm coming through, so I never even got to do my own.
And it's really hard when there's a bunch of people in a show. It just is. That's what's kind of nice about this is me and you can shoot the shit, and we can sit and talk with the chat. It's not busy, not like we can talk with the chat too, and get everybody's comments in and everything. So it's like this format is a lot easier. It just is what it is. So
yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, I agree. At auction, these pages would like blow up. So I
Well, people can pick up back some of the pages and and then sit on them, and then 2 years from now, sell them in auction, or they can go nuts on them if they want. So I like to think, um, if I give someone an opportunity for something, it's you know how you hear about those artists who draw a sketch for somebody and then it turns out so well they don't want to actually give it to the person at the
Oh
time.
yeah, that's
I'm
not
not that
good.
guy. I'm
No, yeah,
I've told people, I'm like, dude, if I was doing a book, like if I'm doing Death Raider and someone came up to me and said, Rob, I want to do this I want to do this crazy YouTube thing where I'm going to buy 10,000 copies of Death Raider from you. And then we're
right.
going to sit in the parking lot and we're going to throw them in a burning barrel. And we're going to burn them. And I'd be like, wow, that's a crazy YouTube gimmick. I'm like, all right, do you want me to sign them and then throw them in the barrel with you? Or what do you want to do?
Right.
It's America, man. It's capitalism. Like once you buy, whether it's artwork or
Oh
sketches
yeah.
or pages from me, it's yours, dude. It's,
Yeah.
it's yours. So
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, if
yeah,
you
because
guys have not checked out Death Raider yet, go do it. Like
yeah.
this is an amazing looking book. You're in demand right now,
Mm-hmm.
and like the art that Rob's doing right now is next level. I saw
Thank
somebody
you.
mention that there's nothing that looks like this in Comicsgate, and you're right. Like this is like Rob's pouring everything into this, and this is an amazing looking book. So definitely go check out Death Raider, and if you haven't backed it yet, definitely back it and back it tonight. Why not? And if you haven't been here before, if you're new to the chat, me and Rob have kind of got the show going, but we're pretty new yet. So if you can hit
Mm-hmm.
that like button and hit subscribe and help us build the channel, we definitely appreciate it. Because yeah, this is kind of fun. Love hanging out with the chat. Love just bullshitting comics and yeah, we actually did a pretty decent job of actually covering our campaigns tonight, which is
Because
kind
we
of not
talked
the
about
usual.
art.
It's like a lot
Well,
of times we just forget to talk about all of it. But yeah,
we're
yeah. Did you want anything else you want to talk about your campaign or?
honestly, I people always go through like specific which books are for
Sure.
sale, and I'm like, why? All you got to do is go to the campaign, and people will be able to scroll and they'll be able to see it. Like
Yeah.
there, it's a lot like everyone else's tiers. You can buy all the books, you can buy one of the books, you can buy one of each cover. There's a bunch of PDF. Like for people who don't want to spend the money on shipping or their budget is smaller, you can just buy the PDFs.
Yeah.
You can get all three different, because with the PDFs there's three versions of the PDF. There's
Yeah.
the standard PDF in color, there's the PDF that's black and white, and then there's the PDF there's no lettering. It's black and white and there's
Oh,
no
okay.
lettering, because some people wanted a PDF where they can just see, there it is, it's called stripped. So
Yeah.
far only one person. A lot of people email me. It's kind of funny that I think what they ended up doing is a bunch of the people who asked for a book like that, they
Yeah.
ended up buying the three PDF package, because
Oh,
it would be
sure.
weird to get a book and look through it with no dialogue and no
Right.
captions, so you don't know what the story is.
Yeah.
You probably buy cover A, the full color version with the dialogue with the word balloon, so you can follow the story and then just look at the artwork.
Well,
So
yeah, and that's the thing is with this, yeah, you can read the story, but then you can also just like look over all the line work and all the amazing inking you've done. So you kind of get the best of both worlds with those versions.
yes, yeah, and I am not doing a printed version where it's just the artwork.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
I just
that's
saw
only in the
that was,
PDF.
yeah, it's only in the PDF, because I just couldn't envision that being popular enough.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a black and white version of the book, that's uh the midnight cover, where it's the whole book is in black and white. There's no color.
Yeah.
So
Okay. No, it looks great.
thank you. But yeah, so everybody just go to the campaign and check it out.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah. You look.
I'm
Yes.
I'm killing myself on the artwork and the story.
Yeah.
What's
It shows.
great and what's painful is, because I am writing it and I am my editor, I've already gone back and redone like 6 pages already.
Oh gosh.
I tweaked the story a little bit, and then when I decide to tweak the story, like I'm like, that page doesn't really fit now anymore. And then I'll look at the other pages and go, well, I could add this. I could change these. I could, so, Graham's told me do all 64 pages, Rob, and then if you want to tweak anything afterwards, go in and tweak. So I think
I would agree. I would agree with Graham there. It's like get through the book, and then if you want to like tweak some stuff.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to redraw any more pages, but I did redraw like 6 of the pages already. But it's also part of it is because I've been doing more gray tones.
So, oh yeah.
Well, Marcus, I wanted to do PDFs because I heard a lot of people complaining in chats about the cost of shipping or just the cost in general. And to be honest, this campaign, one of the stretch goals was downloads every month. I wanted to be able to download a chapter every month as soon as it went in demand. And I wanted to do that specifically because I wanted to bridge the gap between crowdfunding and Marvel and DC. And I'm a huge Marvel and DC fan where I'm used to going and getting my books once a month. And when I think about the golden years of comics with Liefeld and Portacio and Jim Lee and Dale Kuhn and all those guys, the books came out every month. So I really wanted to bring to the people the opportunity, the option of, every month they were going to get a chapter of Death Raider. So
it's a cool idea. It's different than what a lot of people are doing.
We didn't hit that stretch goal, but maybe with the next book we'll be able to do that.
Let's give Death Raider a refresh here. Randy is. Woo!
Ooh,
that's a nice little. That is a nice little bump there. Got a couple of backers, I think.
Bump. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate that.
Hail chat, man. Hail.
Oh yeah. Hail chat, big time. Yeah, it's making me think that by the time I go to print, it might hit 20K, which would be amazing. My first project.
No, that is awesome.
And I understand the people that are taking a leap of faith. I mean, I'm writing it for the first time. I did pencil on Suicide Squad at DC, but I'm still a fairly new penciler when you think of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you can see all of my ink techniques that majority of my career was as an inker. So everybody who's backed this project, I appreciate immensely because they are going like, oh, okay, we're familiar with this guy's name, but he's wearing a lot more hats than he ever did before. And, we don't want him to fail. The $25 is $25, man. I know that for sure. So
I would think everybody's got. I mean, just your history in comics, everybody's got faith in you. I mean, just seeing what you've done already, I don't think there's people worried about that. It's like you got the background. It's just
they know I'm a lifer.
Well, that's the thing.
There's and they also know what Marvel and DC are like now.
Yeah,
there's nowhere else.
And that's the thing is with all these comic book creators that worked with Marvel and DC, like the Comicsgate fans, like they hear the background horror stories and like what freelancers are dealing with, and like doing your own books through crowdfunding is like night and day from freelancing for Marvel and DC. It's
and they won't even take you. They can hire a foreign guy who never questions the plot.
Yeah.
Doesn't argue with the editor because he doesn't speak English as his first language.
Yeah.
And he's going to do it for a third of the money.
Yeah. They just want an art drone.
Yes.
They want an art drone to turn stuff in as fast as possible. And they don't care whether you are a fan or have a history or any of that stuff. They're just looking for you to churn out what they want you to churn out now. And that's what they're doing.
Yep.
They're churning churning stuff out that like nobody cares about this stuff anymore.
No.
The people that are doing it don't care about this stuff. They don't appreciate the history of these characters. In fact, they want to rewrite the history of these characters to fit their agenda.
Constantly, dude.
Yeah. And it's just garbage. It's what I hope they keep doing it because they keep alienating fans. And guess what? Those fans are looking for good comics, and that's what Comicsgate is putting out. So, yeah, it's oh, you got Improbi here.
I know. I just saw that. I just thanked him in the chat. Man.
Hail Improbi.
Thank you very much. Yes.
And if you're new to the show, please subscribe and hit that like button. Me and Rob are going to be doing the show more regularly. So,
well, we've been regular since we started.
Yeah,
This
is like the third, fourth
second,
week now.
It depends on how you want to see it. How we've done closeouts and all that good stuff. So absolutely. we've been consistent. We've been here every week.
Yeah, actually, I think this is the second time this week. We've been doing like 1 or 2 shows at least a week. So and I mean, this is fun. This is a blast for me. Like this isn't. This is the easy part of it.
Dude, when I did, because I do have a YouTube channel, and it was always work. Like I would spend 30 minutes putting, doing the YouTube thumbnail.
Yeah.
And then going, I just wasted 30 minutes. And then I wouldn't even want to do the video. Or if I did the video and I screwed it up somehow. But going on here and talking to you about art and comics, dude, this is fun. I like doing this.
Yeah.
I was a grumpy SOB on my own YouTube channel. So this is a blast. This is a blast. So I, definitely, I would like to make the jokes. Don't subscribe. Just keep coming in and seeing us every week. But I know that doesn't help.
Keep coming. I like to be a contrarian, but also hit that subscribe button.
Because like, Rob, what are you saying?
I want my channel to look like it's something, But no, like
it. Can you imagine we have 1,000 people in chat and it still says there's 212 subscribers? People are like, what's happening here? What are you guys doing? But it's like Rob says, don't hit the subscribe button.
But literally, like we picked up a bunch of subscribers like really fast from it hasn't taken long for it to kind of get moving, which is really kind of incredible. But yeah, it's like, I mean, it's what Comicsgate is all about. Like, there's fans who are hungry for good comics. Like, comic book fans haven't disappeared. They're still here. They still love comics. It's just Marvel and DC have just alienated them to the point where it's like, and I mean, that's why Comicsgate is what it is. It's like exploding with energy. Like, if you put a good comic, if you build it, they will come. The old Costner movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if you make good comics, comic book fans will show up, and that's what Comicsgate is doing. So, yeah, it's been pretty awesome. Like I've just been having like the last 3 or 4 years that's been Comicsgate has been the most fun of my entire comic book career. For all the books that I worked on, and like not huge projects, but I mean, I got to draw Justice League. I worked on a Voltron. I worked on G.I. Joe. I worked on Youngblood. Like this, this is the most fun I've had working in comics, and it's just because the enthusiasm of the fans in Comicsgate and the enthusiasm of the creators. Like, the creators are doing the books that they want to do, that they love. So it's like you can see the energy, you can see the excitement, and it's a blast to work on.
Well, thank you, Stippling Vaughn. I appreciate the rendering and the tone. And there you go. Stippling Vaughn will take all of the subscribers that I tell people not to subscribe.
Don't subscribe.
Subscribe and subscribe to Stippling Vaughn instead.
How are we going to become like high profile YouTube influencers?
I'm a contrarian.
You're contrarian.
The success will come because we say no to it.
Because you don't want the subscribers. I can't argue with that logic. That seems that seems pretty obvious that just alienate everybody, and they'll be drawn even more towards it.
I have a question I would like to hear from chat. As I am here longer,
you keep them going with the question. I'm going to go grab a quick beverage because I am getting parched fast.
Okay,
I'll be right back.
All right, cool. My question to everybody is that if the campaigns that I continue to put out grow and are bigger and bigger, what would people rather see? Would they rather see a super successful campaign that has more stuff like trading cards and like action figure type things and that stuff, or statues? Or would you rather see, as the campaign gets bigger, the price of the books go down? I'm kind of curious what people would like to see, because I know Ethan's business model, and but I'm always trying to think outside the box. What people, what would they actually like to see from that? Would you like to see, as more books get sold, the cost go down, or as books get sold, you end up with more stuff in your box? More things, more stickers, and all that other stuff. So, I don't know the laws, but I always joke that if the campaign did well, one of my stretch goals were going to be glass resin brass knuckles to go with the book, just to go with the fuck shit up attitude.
That would be kind of cool looking as a reward tier, though.
Wouldn't that be great?
Oh yeah.
It would be, because it's I don't know what that plastic is. It's not PVC. PVC will break, but there's the glass resin material that
it's got a little bit more rubbery to it, so it's not like it's not going to shatter or anything.
Yeah, exactly. But it's harder. Like the handle, the lower of a Glock is made from glass resin.
Oh, okay.
So a material like that.
So
that's the question I have for chat.
We've got Improbi's an old Avatar fan, man. I did a ton of stuff for Avatar back in the day. And that's where I got really good at drawing women with big jugs. That was popular with Avatar, and it was popular with me. So that was where I actually worked with Polito on a book there. What the hell was it called? It was before they got the rights to Lady Death back. God, I'm trying to think.
Oh, they got the rights to Lady Death back because of Mark Alessi at CrossCheck.
Right, yeah. Like
he was a big fan of that.
Well, what I think it was Alessi did Polito a favor, but Polito didn't have the money for it, so Christensen William kind of helped finance it.
Oh, what happened?
And then so William got the rights. He had the financing to get the rights back from Alessi, because for a while Avatar had the rights to Lady Death with Polito involved in it. I don't know if they did a 50-50 split or what. So then Avatar was publishing Lady Death, and this was after Polito had launched a whole new line of characters at Avatar. And I drew one of Belladonna. That's what it was called, Belladonna.
Oh, I kind of remember that character.
Yeah. Oh, so cool. I was drawing that book, and then they got the rights to Lady Death. So then they did, all the Lady Death stuff and Lady Death versus Belladonna. So I got to draw a little bit of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And then William, I don't remember exactly how it went down, but then eventually Polito got all the full rights back, and then obviously Polito found crowdfunding, and he's like, "Oh, guess what? It's back to the chaos days of just printing money."
Yeah. I heard he's been kicking ass, and he does a lot of marketing, and he does a lot of
absolutely crushing it over there with crowdfunding. He has been, so good for Brian. You could do a documentary of Brian's career with Lady Death, because to lose it and then to get it back and then to be completely crushing it again like he is it's a really cool story. Especially for a creator and creator-owned stuff to get the rights back to your character and have control of it again. It's pretty cool. So
Marcus, did Graham do, when he did brass knuckles, did he do full-size brass knuckles? Because I know some states brass knuckles are illegal.
Let's see.
Yeah,
he
he
did.
says he did brass knuckles with two-fisted mini tails.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just curious about that. I'm curious if they actually were full size brass knuckles.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it, but yeah, I know brass knuckles can. It's like completely illegal in some states to have them.
Oh yeah. I because I think it's considered like a concealed weapon.
Oh sure,
It's
yeah.
like like certain knives are illegal in your pocket in certain states and stuff like that. Or stun guns, you can't carry a stun gun because that's a concealed weapon. So
yeah, that makes sense. Well, should we even attempt my topic? I don't even know.
Well, we've been going for already 2 hours.
Yeah,
so
like that's probably a good stretch. We'll save the topic we can save it for pontificators on Wednesday.
It's so funny because I also had that topic I brought up to you too. So it's really funny. We actually never really got to the topics.
No,
we talked about art.
It happens half the time on pontificators. So we come up with a couple of topic ideas, and then all of us get going, and we just go off on some tangent. So I kind of would rather
talking about comics.
Yeah, I would rather like go off on a tangent, and then if you need a topic to talk about, that's like your backup plan. So
brass knuckles mounted like a trophy. No, dude, I'm talking like, hey, here's your glass resin brass knuckles for use.
For use. Break glass knuckles in case of emergency.
Because your favorite Marsoc Marine Raid or Death Raider would want you to be able to beat some ass if you have to. Only in defense.
The world's a dangerous place out there.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah.
No trophy brass knuckles.
No.
I want usable brass knuckles.
Yep. With that, I think we will close it up. I want to thank everybody in the chat, man. We had a really hopping night tonight. It was great having everybody in here. Like I said, me and Rob are going to do the Sunday night. Actually, doesn't seem like a terrible night either. So, like right now, we're doing Thursdays, but maybe we'll like kind of, we're going to work out the kinks and figure out which works best and which kind of gets a little bit better of an audience. So maybe Sunday nights might work for us down the road, but we'll post on Twitter and let everybody know when we are doing a show. And thank you guys for stopping by. If this is your first time in here, definitely hit that like button and the subscribe button, and really helps out the channel. And thanks for swinging by. Everybody have a great Sunday night. Don't listen to Rob. Rob's no help. But everybody have a great Sunday night. Big week this week, and we will see you probably on Twitter. And everybody have a great night, and talk to you next time.
All right. Good night, everybody.